Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Daniel, and today in this video we'll be covering a chess.com training game I played a couple days ago. I was playing the black pieces, and let's take a look at what happened. So my opponent opens with d4, knight f6, all pretty standard. I go for my King's Indian setup. This is all pretty standard here. I'm going to castle next and then try to push for e5. g3, castles, all pretty standard. I'm going for e5 and c6, queen c7, e5, and then here my opponent plays d5, closing up the center a bit. Here I play queen c7. There was a threat here on the d6 pawn, like if I play something random, then you can take here on c6, and after pawn takes, you do have queen captures on d6. You're attacking this pawn because of the knight as well, and you're also attacking the c6 pawn, and this is just completely losing for black pretty much. So it is necessary I play queen c7. Here bishop e3, simply developing. Here I play rook f to d1. Maybe at some point when my opponent does decide to capture, and I capture back, and I can push for d5 after knight b6, supporting the pawn. b4. Here I play a5, trying to strike at my opponent's majority here on the queen side. a3, makes sense. And here I play knight b6, anticipating c5, which I had calculated. And here I ended up playing the move knight to c4, which actually isn't the best move. Better here would actually to be playing d captures on c5. I forgot that knight was attacked. After b takes, now I can actually play this move c captures on d5. The idea here is that this pawn is pinned to this knight. So if you take here, then I can play queen captures on c3, and my queen has infiltrated white's position. And if you capture here, then I simply have like rook captures, or even something like bishop f5 playing around this pawn is also possible. So here, instead, however, I calculated knight to c4 here. And after pawn takes, here I play queen captures on d6. And here bishop to c5, which was a bit annoying, but here I just moved my queen back to c7, and now maybe I'm threatening like something like b6, get the bishop back, and then I can take in the center and resolve the tension along the a file as well as the d file. So queen b6 here. Here I play the move b5. I calculated that if you play something like a4 here, trying to undermine this knight, then here I simply have the move. Here I calculated I simply have something like so pawn takes here potentially, or even pawn takes here, I believe, because, oh sorry, not here, I forgot the knight was under attack. So here, and then after something like bishop captures on c5, then here I can play something like probably pawn takes on d5, clearing up the tension, so I have some protection over this knight here. And if you play knight captures on b5, then here I can simply play something like queen to b8, and here if you take here on d4, then here I can play something like knight a5 after we trade. These two pawns are both relatively weak. I have good pressure here along the b file, a file, and d file. This bishop's ready to come out into action, attack this knight potentially, and this is a relatively okay position for black. So here my opponent takes. I take first in the center, attacking the bishop. This was sort of the point of also playing a5, because now with the bishop here on c5, whenever you capture, I can capture on d4 and attack this bishop. It doesn't matter if you can play queen captures on b5, because here I simply have the move rook captures on a5, attacking the bishop through the queen. And if you play queen captures on c4, after rook captures on c5, actually sorry, you can't even play queen captures on c4, because here I can take with a pawn. But just to demonstrate, even if this pawn wasn't here, I'd still be winning, because after rook captures on c5 and something like queen to d3, I have rook captures on c3. Instead here, my opponent plays bishop b6, makes sense, trying to skewer the queen and the rook. I play knight takes, pawn to a6, pawn takes and queen takes. And here my opponent plays knight captures on d5. Here I play knight captures on d5. And here, this is actually completely losing for white already, because after pawn takes, here I found the move e4, attacking the knight, as well as attacking the rook in the corner on a1. Here my opponent plays knight to g5. And here after bishop captures on a1, rook captures on a1, and queen to f6. Here I'm attacking the knight as well as the rook. Here my opponent not seeing a defense, because there isn't one at all, ended up resigning the game here. So very quick and very swift 23 move victory. Just to highlight one variation here, knight to d2 doesn't actually save that much more material, because after bishop takes and rook takes, sorry, not king takes, rook takes and queen to d4, I'm still double attacking the 2 pieces. If you play rook to d1, protecting the knight, then here I have bishop to g4. You don't have f3 because my queen is pinning the pawn. And obviously you don't want to put your bishop here because I can simply take it. Or I can take with the pawn even. So this is really bad. After you move the rook, I can take the knight still. So instead you have to play something like rook to a2, at which point I have rook captures on d5, and now I can bring my bishop out into the game, threatening a discovered attack on the queen. And at the end of the day, here I'm simply up an exchange, at the minimum, if not more. So this should be just completely winning. Like a funny variation here would be like, let's say knight b1. Then here I actually have queen, like this really nice checkmate here with bishop to h3. Like this is even something I can threaten if the knight decides to move at some point. Basically here, there's no way to stop rook captures on f1, so you have to like give away all your pieces. Like knight d2 here, I play rook a to d8, and here you can play something like this, and I take. And then here you just end up giving away all your pieces, but slowly it still gets to checkmate anyway. But like I said earlier, very nice 23 move, very swift victory, I'll say. Lots of tactical flair involved in this game and lots of positional ideas as well. As you can see here in this position, there's pressure on the A and D file, along with a lot of pawn tension throughout this entire game, leading to some very nice tactical complications, which ended up going my way. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.